There's a kind of blindness that comes with expertise. The more you know about something, the harder it becomes to see it simply. You learn the jargon, you master the frameworks, you build mental models so sophisticated that they start to feel like reality itself. And somewhere along the way, you lose the ability to ask the obvious question, the one a child would ask, the one that doesn't require a PhD to understand. This is how empires fall, not from ignorance, but from knowledge so dense it becomes its own prison. San Francisco on a Friday night is a city of contrasts. The Mission District hums with taquerias and murals and people who remember when rent was affordable. A few miles north, the glass towers of Soma glow with the cold light of servers and ambition, filled with people who measure time in funding rounds and exits. Adrian Cole lived in the glass towers, 37 years old, founder of Meridian Exchange, the fastest growing cryptocurrency platform on the West Coast. $9 billion in valuation, a face that had become synonymous with the next generation of finance. The kind of man who got invited to Davos and pretended to be bored by it. But tonight, Adrian wasn't thinking about Davos. Tonight, he was thinking about the number on the screen in front of him, a number that had been frozen for 72 hours, a number that represented every transaction on his platform, stuck, immovable, like a heart that had forgotten how to beat. $4.2 million per hour, that's what the freeze was costing him. Every hour the system stayed down, another $4.2 million evaporated. Investors were calling, lawyers were circling. The tech press had already started writing the obituary. Meridian's meltdown. Is this the end of Adrian Cole's empire? He had read the headline 6 times. Each time it felt more real. The conference room on the 43rd floor was a graveyard of whiteboards, diagrams, code snippets, coffee cups stacked like monuments to desperation. 10 engineers, the best money could buy, had spent 3 days attacking the problem from every angle. Stanford, MIT, Carnegie Mellon, former Google, former Meta, former NASA. Resumes so impressive they could have been fiction. All of them had failed. The problem was simple to describe, impossible to solve. The blockchain verification system had entered a recursive loop. Transactions were being validated, then invalidated and then validated again, an infinite cycle that locked the entire platform in digital paralysis. It's a consensus issue, one engineer had said on day 1. We'll have it fixed by morning. Morning came, the problem remained. It's a node synchronization failure, another declared on day 2. We need to rebuild the validation protocol from scratch. They rebuilt it. The system crashed harder. By day 3, the experts had stopped making predictions. They sat in silence, staring at screens filled with code that seemed to mock them. The more they looked, the less they saw. Adrian stood at the window, watching the city lights blur into abstraction. He had built Meridian from nothing, from an idea sketched on a napkin in a coffee shop 7 years ago, from nights sleeping under his desk because he couldn't afford an apartment, from a belief that he understood something others didn't, that finance could be democratized, decentralized, freed from the gatekeepers who had always controlled it. And now it was dying, not from competition, not from regulation, from a bug that 10 geniuses couldn't find. His phone buzzed. His largest investor, he let it ring. Behind him, the door opened. Mr. Cole, his assistant Rachel, looked exhausted. Everyone looked exhausted. The food arrived. Should I set it up in the break room? Food. Right, someone had ordered Chinese hours ago. Adrian had forgotten about it entirely. Just bring it in here. Nobody's leaving anyway. Rachel nodded and disappeared. A few minutes later, a young woman appeared with bags of takeout containers. She moved quietly, efficiently, placing the food on a side table while the engineers ignored her completely. Adrian watched her without really seeing her. She was just background noise, a delivery person, part of the invisible infrastructure that kept the world running while important people solved important problems. She set down the last container and turned to leave. Then she stopped. She was looking at the main screen, the one displaying the error cascade that had consumed 3 days and 10 brilliant minds. "That's weird," she said. No one heard her. The engineers were deep in their own conversations, their own theories, their own sophisticated frameworks. But Adrian heard her. "What's weird?" She turned, startled to be addressed. For a moment, she looked like she might apologize and leave. Instead, she pointed at the screen. "That thing, the loop. It's not a bug." Adrian frowned. "What do you mean?" She shrugged, like what she was about to say was the most obvious thing in the world. "It's doing exactly what someone told it to do." The room went quiet, not the productive quiet of focused work, the uncomfortable quiet of people who had just been shown up by someone who wasn't supposed to be in the conversation. One of the engineers, a man named Patterson with a Stanford PhD and a $400,000 salary, laughed dismissively. "I'm sorry. Who are you?" The delivery girl looked at him. No intimidation, no apology. "I'm the person who just brought your Kung Pao chicken. And I'm also the person telling you that your system isn't broken. It's been sabotaged." Patterson's smile disappeared. "That's absurd. We've been analyzing this code for 3 days. There's no external intrusion, no malware signature, no evidence of because it's not external." She walked toward the screen. The engineers parted instinctively, unsure whether to stop her. Whoever did this didn't hack in, they were already inside. They built the loop into the core architecture, probably months ago, maybe years. Adrian felt something cold move through his chest. "How do you know that?" She pointed at a line of code on the screen. A simple function buried deep in the verification protocol. That right there. See how it calls itself after every validation cycle? That's not an accident. That's not a glitch. That's deliberate recursion with a time-delayed trigger. She looked at Adrian. Someone wanted this to happen, and they wanted it to happen now. The room was frozen. "That's impossible," Patterson said, but his voice had lost its certainty. "That code has been reviewed by people looking for bugs." The girl shrugged. "I'm not looking for bugs. I'm looking at what the code actually does. There's a difference." Adrian stepped forward. "Who are you, really?" She turned to face him fully for the first time. Mid-20s, tired eyes. The kind of exhaustion that comes from working multiple jobs and sleeping too little. But behind the fatigue, something sharp, something that didn't belong in a delivery uniform. "My name is Maya Chen. I used to be a software engineer. Used to be. I was laid off 18 months ago. Company downsizing. Wrong department. Wrong timing." She gestured at her uniform. "Turns out the job market isn't great for people without connection. So now I deliver food to people who have the jobs I used to want." Adrian studied her. "Where did you work before?" Maya met his eyes. "Here." The revelation landed like a grenade. Maya Chen. Adrian searched his memory. The name meant nothing, but then again he had never paid attention to names below a certain level. Engineers were resources, interchangeable, expendable. "I was part of the original infrastructure team," Maya continued. 3 years ago, I helped build the verification system you're all staring at right now." Patterson pulled up an employee database, scrolled, found her file. "She's telling the truth. Maya Chen, junior engineer, terminated in the last round of cuts." "I wasn't just terminated." Maya's voice hardened. "I was erased. 3 years of work, 60-hour weeks. I helped design the core architecture of this platform. And when the layoffs came, I didn't even get an exit interview. Just a box and a security escort." Adrian remembered now. The cuts 18 months ago. 30% of the engineering team. A necessary restructuring. The board had called it a strategic realignment. He had signed off on it without looking at a single name. "I'm sorry," he said. The words felt hollow. "I don't need your apology." Maya turned back to the screen. "I need you to understand what you're looking at. This code, the sabotage. I recognize the style, the architecture, the way the recursion is nested." She paused. "I wrote it." Adrian's blood went cold. "You sabotaged us." "No," Maya shook her head. "I wrote the original verification system. Someone else modified it, added the loop, used my own code against me, against you." She pulled up another section, highlighted a timestamp buried in the metadata. The modification was made 14 months ago, 3 months after I was laid off. Whoever did this had full system access, senior level, and they knew my code well enough to hide inside it. Adrian looked at the timestamp 14 months ago. He thought about who had senior access then, who would have the knowledge, the motive. And then he knew. Marcus. Patterson looked up. Marcus Webb, the CTO. Former CTO. Adrian's jaw tightened. "I forced him out 16 months ago. He wanted to take the company in a different direction. We disagreed. The board sided with me." Maya nodded slowly. "He had access to everything, and he knew I was gone. So he used my code as a cup. If anyone found the loop, it would trace back to my architecture. A disgruntled ex-employee. Easy scapegoat." The room was silent. Adrian looked at the screen, at the loop that had cost him 300 million and counting, at the sabotage planted by a man he had trusted, at the truth that had been hiding in plain sight, invisible to 10 experts, because they were looking for the wrong thing. "Can you fix it?" Maya looked at him. "I can, but it won't be easy, and it won't be free. Name your price." She didn't hesitate. "My job back, not junior level, senior architect, full equity, and a public acknowledgement that I helped build this platform." Adrian studied her. The delivery uniform, the tired eyes, the dignity that refused to break. "Done." Maya turned to the keyboard. "Then let's get to work." Maya worked for 6 hours straight. The engineers watched in silence. Patterson, the Stanford PhD, took notes like a student in a masterclass. The others hovered at a respectful distance, occasionally fetching coffee or answering questions, but mostly just observing someone who understood the system in a way they never would. Because Maya hadn't just studied the code, she had lived it. Every function, every protocol, every elegant shortcut and hidden vulnerability, they were hers. Her fingerprints were everywhere, buried beneath layers of modifications made by people who came after her. At 3:47 a.m., she hit enter on the final command. The screen flickered, numbers began to move. Transactions that had been frozen for 72 hours started flowing again, like a river finally released from a dam. The room erupted. Engineers cheered. Someone popped a bottle of champagne that had been sitting in the break room since the last funding round. Patterson actually applauded. Adrian didn't celebrate. He stood at the window, watching the first light of dawn creep over San Francisco, thinking about everything that had led to this moment. "It's done." Maya appeared beside him, still in her delivery uniform, still exhausted, but something had shifted in her posture. The weight she had carried into this room was gone. "Thank you," Adrian said. "Don't thank me yet. The fix is temporary. You'll need to rebuild the entire verification architecture from scratch. What Marcus planted was deep. There might be other traps we haven't found. I'll hire the best team money can buy." "You already did that." Maya gestured at the engineers behind them. They couldn't find a problem that was staring them in the face, because they were trained to look for complexity. Sometimes the answer is simple. Sometimes you just need someone who isn't afraid to see what's obvious. Adrian turned to face her. "Why did you help me?" Maya was quiet for a moment. 18 months ago, I hated you. I didn't know you personally, but I hated everything you represented. The founder who signs layoff lists without reading the names. The billionaire who builds an empire on other people's work and forgets they exist. She looked out at the city. I spent a year delivering food to tech offices, watching people younger than me with half my experience sit in meetings I should have been leading. I told myself I was done with this industry, done with people like you. What changed? Tonight, she paused. I walked in here expecting to see a room full of arrogant people who deserved to fail, and I did see that, mostly, but I also saw something else. What? A system I built, code I'm proud of, being destroyed by someone who wanted revenge more than he wanted to be right. She shook her head. Marcus and I aren't that different. We were both thrown away. We both had reasons to be angry, but he chose to burn everything down, and I realized, I don't want to be that person. I don't want my legacy to be destruction. Adrian absorbed her words. What do you want your legacy to be? Maya smiled, the first real smile he'd seen from her. I want to build things that last. I want to be in rooms where decisions get made, and I want to make sure that the next Maya Chen, the next brilliant engineer, who gets it because someone didn't bother to learn her name, I want to make sure she gets a different story. Adrian nodded slowly. Then let's write it. He extended his hand. Senior architect, full equity, a seat at the table where the names get read before they get cut. Maya looked at his hand, at the billionaire, who had never noticed her until tonight, at the man who was offering her everything she had lost, not out of guilt, but out of recognition. She took it. One condition. Name it. Marcus, whatever you're planning to do to him, lawsuits, criminal charges, public humiliation, I don't want any part of it. He made his choice. I've made mine. I'm not interested in revenge. Adrian hesitated. Every instinct told him to destroy Marcus, to make an example, to show the world what happened to people who betrayed him. But looking at Maya, he understood something he had missed for years. Revenge was easy, building was hard, and the people worth keeping were the ones who chose to build. Agreed, he said. Maya shook his hand firmly. Then I'll see you Monday, Mr. Cole. Adrian, please. She almost laughed. Adrian, get some sleep. You look terrible. She turned and walked toward the door, still in her delivery uniform, still carrying the empty food bags she had brought hours ago. Maya, she stopped. The Kung Pao chicken, was it any good? She looked back at him, at the chaos of the conference room, at the engineers who had dismissed her, and the billionaire who had never seen her, cold by now. But yeah, it was good. She walked out. Adrian watched her go. The delivery girl who had seen what 10 experts couldn't, the engineer who had been erased and refused to disappear, the woman who had chosen to build instead of burn. Outside, the sun was rising over San Francisco, and somewhere in the city, a new story was beginning.